Hello and welcome to Blackmans Bay Studios. And today, the start of an exciting new series, Keith.
Yes, it is. We're going to be doing, this is Mick and Keith's Room 101. Now, for those of you who don't know the concept of Room 101, or even where Room 101 comes from, of course, it was from a novel, 1984 by George Orwell, and it was a room that when something went in there, particularly people, they never came out again. And so there was me and Mick devised a game show years ago, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually hijacked by the BBC and
Again,
again, and they put their own format on it. So so this is our sort of version, and we hope you like it. Now, what's going to happen? Mick's going to have a couple of things that he wants to get off his chest and wants to get into Room 101. I'm going to have a couple of things. And then we're going to make a decision. I'll make a decision on Mick's. He's going to make a decision on mine of what one's going to go in Room 101. And we should have a bit of fun. I've got the old handle there, which will open the vault door. So watch out for that one. It's got sound effects. All right?
Yes.
So what do we reckon, Mick?
Let's get going.
Let's get cracking on. Okay. So, Mick, what's winding you up, eh? Let's get the old whoop.
Wine wank. Now, I know it sounds like something that me and Keith's made up, but I'll assure you it's not. It's the term referring to all that bullshit surrounding the wine industry. The wine industry is one of the great bullshit industries out there, but there's also a lot of bullshit surrounding it. I mean, for example,
pretentiousness.
Yeah. For example, how about who can forget Gilly Gordon when she would taste a bit of wine and go, oh yes, I can taste walnuts and plums and strawberries and things like that. It's bullshit. But just in this case, we're focusing on the glasses used for wine. Now then, if I was to show you this glass, what sort of glass would you say that was? Now, if you said that was a champagne glass or a Babycham glass, you'd be correct, because that glass has been around for, or not that particular glass, but that design has been around for 300 years. And apparently legend has it was modelled on the breast of Marie Antoinette. And looking at that, she didn't have a lot. So anyway, but about 20 years ago, we were told, oh no, it's the wrong glass, you're using the wrong glass. You should be using one of these, the flute, because this glass, because the top is so wide, all the bubbles escape and it affects the taste apparently. So when this happened, I never thought much of it. But then just recently, we were told, oh no, you're using the wrong glass again. What you should be using is one of these, the tulip glass, because the flute glass is too narrow. You should have a slightly wider one and a wider belly in the middle. So when I heard that, I thought, can you spell that? Yeah, it's definitely there. It's bullshit, isn't it? It's got to be bullshit. Now, because these sort of glasses, when I think of these, I just think of two things. I think of Keith breaking the world record for a tower of champagne glasses many years ago.
When it used to be one on one,
Yeah,
like that, not like not like the big fountain thing they have these days.
Keith broke the world record, and I remember when I took Sandy out, I thought she's a nice girl, I'll take her out for a steak meal and a Babycham. None of that port and lemon bollocks. So now we're told that we've got to use a tulip glass. So who's saying this? Well, outright it's the wine industry, of course, but no doubt they're doing it for their mates over at the glass making industry. So they're vested interests. So to me, it's just another bit of bullshit locked on top of the bullshit industry that is the wine. So Keith, now come on, mate, you've got to put it in.
Well, you know, I've got a couple of things to say, obviously, and we've got a little bit of we're actually going to do a bit of a wine taste, live wine tasting, a blindfold test.
Yes.
So that'll, and we're going to put Mick to the test, if you like. Yeah. So Mick, I can see where you're coming from. Obviously, you're not a wine connoisseur. Let's get that right off the bat. But you know what you like.
Yeah.
You've got normal taste buds, haven't you?
Yes.
You know, you can tell the difference between sweet, sour, and all that.
Yes.
You haven't got any medical impediments, have you?
No.
Okay. I want you to just taste this champagne. It is obviously top of the range. I just want you to have a taste of this, and then just taste the four of them as a test. How's that taste?
Right.
Was that all right?
Mm.
Yeah, okay. Do you want a palate cleanser or anything like
No.
that? You'll be on. Okay. How'd that one go down?
All right.
Good. Have a quick look at this one. Right. Oh, little bit of dribble. That was all right.
Yeah.
Actually, we have got one final glass. I wanted you to just have a bit of a test out of this as well, of course.
Oh, okay,
Just to
okay.
see what you think, you know. Right.
Mm.
Now, just keep the blindfold on for a couple of seconds.
Mm.
Could you tell the difference in any of that?
No.
Did it all taste like champagne?
Yes, it tasted up fine. Actually.
It was all bubbly, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Very
so,
nice. Yeah.
Well, you can remove the blindfold.
All Okay.
So I think that actually proves, you know, that all this glass business is a load of bollocks. But anyway, so let's see what else is winding Mick up, shall we?
U2, Bono, The Edge. Now, down the years, I would say that Keith and I have seen a hell of a lot of groups in our time. Some fantastic groups, some okay, some not so good. Now, as far as U2's concerned, I would say that I've never really taken to them musically, and I've never really given much thought, really. It's just the actions of the bloke who's the lead singer, Bono, whose name is Paul Hewson, really, and he's got to be the most pretentious, sanctimonious arsehole in the music industry. Now, he travels around the world.
Cool.
He travels around the world virtually demanding to speak to the world's leaders, except, I'm happy to say, the Prime Minister of Canada, Stephen Harper, who told him to sling his hook, so he's all right in my book. Little things like he never waves to anyone. It's always the peace, the V sign. He's so heartfelt. Now, The Edge is a guitarist in the group. His real name is David Evans, and he was born in Barking in Essex, by the way, not Ireland. And he always wears the silly hat, and Bono always wears the silly glasses, and he's right behind them, right with Bono, with all this shit that they come out with. Now, what started turning me off them was some years ago, Bono was telling ordinary people like us that we should be pouring money into that corrupt cesspit that is the continent of Africa, when at the same time, very quietly, they was moving all their money out of Ireland, which has got very generous tax breaks, into Holland, because they get an even better tax break. And as an example of that, an investigative journalist found their tax return for, I believe it's about 2010, and it was a 2-year return. In 2 years, they earned $736 million, just over. How much tax do you reckon they paid on that, Keith?
Oh dear.
Now,
how many million again?
736 million.
30%, third of that. What's that about? Just under 200 million, was it, Mick? Something like
Well,
that?
they actually paid 16,500 euros.
That much.
And you heard me correctly there. 16,500 euros.
They must have been learning from Google.
Now, that's why they're pretty much universally hated in Ireland. In fact, there's a great Irish joke going around, and I'll read it out because only the Irish will come up with a joke like this. And it says, What's the difference between God and Bono? The answer is God doesn't strut around Dublin all day trying to be Bono. Right? So, but really what put the nail in their coffin, as far as I'm concerned, and I didn't mean that as a play on words, is the fact that after the Paris massacre, if you remember, there was a heavy metal band playing in a club, and then a lot of people got shot and killed in that terrible occasion. Well, U2 were playing in the area. I'm not sure if it was Paris, but they invited the band to play on stage with them. And during the concert, Bono, the wanker, made this statement to pour even more pain on the victims' families and loved ones. And I'm going to read this out so I don't get it wrong. He said, "We," and it's always we, you know, the bleeding heart, we must think of the terrorist family as well. I know it's hard right now, but they were robbed of their loved ones by an ideology that is a perversion of the beautiful religion of Islam. What a total load of bollocks that is. Bono has got to be the biggest wanker in music, or anywhere else for that matter. So come on, Keith, get it in there, get them in there straight away.
Yeah, I can see you're very passionate about that.
No,
I mean, I know, because it's been a pet subject of yours for many years, as I know. Look, you know, I get the pretentiousness, I get all of that, and I also get the hypocrisy. Now, do you think that, what would we say, if they were fair dinkum, to use a local expression,
yeah,
if they're fair dinkum about all the stuff that they portray, about all the care, they do a lot of caring, all the caring and stuff like that, do you think sort of we would end up having something like this? Now, we've got a picture here of Bono's house.
Oh, very nice.
No? Bono's house.
Very nice.
Is that not, that's all right, isn't it?
It's very nice.
Beautiful. You know, we've got a picture of the Edge's house.
Ooh, yes.
You know. And I've got to be honest with you, when Mick sent me the email with his topics for today's show, and he had I didn't even know who the fuck he was. I mean, as soon as I see YouTube, I turn off.
YouTube.
Sorry, as soon as I see, right? As soon as I see you, I turn off, right? Because I can't, and I didn't even know who the Edge was. Anyway, so here's a picture of the Edge's house, who lived just down the road from Bono, funny enough.
Lovely.
And there's a picture, have a look at that. That is a picture of Bono's yacht, which
wow,
we've all got one of them parked. And the Edge's yacht. Now, if they were fair, see, there's the Edge's yacht.
Lovely.
Now, if they were fair dinkum about all this stuff, surely their places in their property would look like this.
Oh yeah,
right?
Front open, Keith.
They would look like this.
Very good.
So there's Bono's house, if he was fair dinkum. We've got the Edge's house there. See that?
Oh, yeah.
You know, look at that.
Well,
see,
Keith, yeah.
You know, and now we got Bono's yacht. Look at that.
Oh,
now
yeah.
that is, you know, that is a prime.
Perfect.
That's how it should be, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, if he was giving all this bollocks out, that's how it should be. And also, what do you think of this? So there's the Edge's yacht as well. You know,
lovely.
You know?
Yeah, it's right.
And
it's very appropriate.
Yes, so I get where you're coming from. I do get where you're coming from, and I suppose we've got to make a decision, have I?
Yes, you have. Yeah, on behalf of all our viewers.
Yeah. Look,
not pressure, Keith.
Mick, you know, I understand the wine wank stuff. I really, because we're passionate about the wine wank stuff. I know exactly where you're coming from. I also know where you're coming from with Bono. You know, but I mean, he's loved worldwide by so many people.
Is he?
And so many fucking idiots.
Yeah.
You know, so I feel for you there. And, you know, I'm finding it very hard to split the two of them. So, Mick, I'm going to put in both of them in room 101. Yes. Don't you worry about that.
Right, well, I'm very pleased with that outcome there. So now it's over to Keith. So, Keith, what's first on your list?
My thing is days. You know, we've got days of the year, they're 365 days.
Yeah.
Well, 366 in some years, of course.
Yeah.
But days, awareness days, Mick. You know, I know we've got Christmas Day, you've got Easter, you know, you've got these days, but it seems now that there's a day for every fucking day. Do you know what I mean? You know, like you can't have a day now without it being International Day of the Tiger or something like that, you know. And there's always a cause, you know. Now, you know, I'm not knocking the causes. Remember, you know, I'm not going to do that. We've got causes by, you know, which is, you know, a classic one that everybody knows is, of course, is the cancer awareness, and I think that's all well and good, and it's really great. But when you come down and you start to analyse it, you've only got to go on Wikipedia and see how many fucking days there are, you know. And I'm talking about these awareness days, and of course they've always got a ribbon, you know, different colour ribbon.
Yeah.
So you've got International Put the Fucking Kettle On Day. Eh?
Yes.
And that's got its own ribbon. Oh yeah, it's got its own ribbon. You know, it's got its own colour ribbon, you know. And I mean, I don't know, you know, how many millions of colours are there? They'll soon be running out of these fucking ribbons. And I'm sure some days have got 2 awareness days attached to them somewhere, you know, because there's that many of them, there ain't enough days to go round anymore. You know, there simply is not enough to go round. Like I said, with you know, there are some things that I you know, fully agree with. You know, you know, Mother's Day. You know, it's quite acceptable to me. Mother's Day, Father's Day. Don't forget, around the world you've got 2 of them. You know, because you know the UK Mother's Day and Mother's Day here in Australia. Different,
yeah, they are actually.
You know,
true,
you know, and is that a way of eking out a few more bob from somebody? I don't know, you know, but not, you know, when I lived in England, Mother's Day, it was, you know, just Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Now they make this, like, even especially in Australia when we came here, there's this massive thing about Mother's Day. You know, it's a whole industry now, and Mother's Day especially. Father's Day not so much. It's a whole industry out there, you know. And Mick, I'm not even going to start fucking talking about fucking St Patrick's Day because you know how much that winds me up, you know.
Yeah, me too.
Eh? Yeah. They got all the, you know, St Patrick. If you want to celebrate St Patrick's Day, fuck off to Dublin. You know the way I see it. Eh? I don't. St George's Day, you don't see me walking down parading down fucking Pitt Street in bloody Sydney, do you?
No.
Eh? You know. And they have this big, massive, great big rallies all over. I mean, go back to Dublin if that's what you want, you know. Anyway, so days, Mick. That's my big thing. And you know, I look on the telly, you know, I watch the news, and every time I look at it, and you've got Malcolm Turnbull there talking in Parliament, he's got a different ribbon on. He's got, and I. There's no caption about what it is, you know.
That's right.
So you don't know what it, and then you scan around the Parliament and they've all got the ribbons and you think, well, what day's that now, you know? Anyway, so days, I hope you'll be sympathetic, Mick, and I think days should be put in room 101, even if it's only certain days. You know.
Well, an interesting presentation there, Keith.
Thank you very much.
I'll give that some
slick as usual.
Of course,
you know,
yeah.
Slick as usual.
I'll give that some serious thought. Right, well done, Keith. Good presentation. Given me plenty to think about, and it is a difficult one because a lot of these charities, it's their only way of raising cash to keep themselves going. So it's not a simple, clear-cut case. I will say though that what your comment about Malcolm Turnbull was interesting because we actually got some pictures here of Malcolm Turnbull actually in Parliament with all these different ribbons on. Yeah, have a look at this.
How did you get that?
Have a look at this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's a different ribbon every day for Malcolm Turnbull, who, for those who don't know, is the Australian Prime Minister.
It's a classic example, isn't it?
It is a classic example.
Yeah.
Now, we've got some graphics on the ribbons that's available. First of all, there's a general awareness ribbon, and there's dozens of them, isn't there, Keith?
Oh, It's too many to get on the screen, mate. Too many.
And there's another one which is, you get Cancer Research, which is a very noble charity.
Of course it is.
But you've got a lot of subcategories. And here they are.
Yeah.
Look at all these ribbons.
I know.
Now,
and each one's got a day attached, mate. Tell you.
Yeah,
you know.
I know. And so it's a difficult one. But then it is getting a bit like an angle for raising money, isn't it?
Of course it is.
I remember once when I was standing in the Sidcup Working Men's Club, and a man came up to me on the committee and said, "Do you want some tickets for the St Patrick's Day dance?" And I said, "No, I'm English. What are you doing for St George's Day?" And then he just mumbled something and walked off.
Shut
so,
up.
you know, I've got to give that some. I've got to balance that out, Keith. You know, the good that some charities do. And speaking of which, the Red Cross, which I've donated to, I was quite shocked to find out that a UK survey found that only 8% of the money donated actually gets through to the worthwhile causes. So, food for thought, Keith.
Well, recently in the UK, you had the RACT as well, don't forget.
RAC.
The RACC. The who's your animal mob? Come on.
What the saving the animals?
Yeah.
Which ones?
Eh?
RSPCA?
Yeah, that's him. That's them.
Yeah.
Yeah, RSPCA. I got myself muddled up there, didn't I?
You did.
You know, and they've just been through the same thing in the UK with a lot of fraud, isn't it?
Oh yeah. You
remember that?
A lot of people have resigned, haven't they?
Yeah,
So
that's right. Yeah.
definitely food for thought there, Keith.
Yeah. Well.
Okay. So now we're coming up to your second subject, which is.
There you go. Tattoos and body piercing. Eh? Tattoos and body piercing. Now, you know, I look at some of these people that are walking around these days, and they got tattoos all over themselves, up their hands, arms, face, everywhere. You know, and I just cannot see the point of it. You know, I just cannot. For one thing. Even on the basics, it limits your job opportunities. You know, when was the last time you went into a bank and saw somebody behind the counter, for instance, with a big tattoo right down their face or over, you know, or as a front of house in a restaurant, you know, with all the, you know, these people have got to realise it. To me, they're doing themselves some harm. I've got as an example. Have a look at this picture here, Mick. Look at this young girl, right? She's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Why would she do that to herself? Eh?
I don't know.
Why would on earth somebody like that do that to herself? I just, you know, I just find it amazing. We've got another one here. Because my pet hate, especially with women, is when they have these tattoos right across here, you know, and you can see even right up the neckline. I'll just pick another example. See that picture there? Another love, isn't it? She's a nice looking girl, isn't she? You know.
Yeah, she is.
And yet she's gone and done that to herself.
What a shame.
You know, and don't even get me started, Mick, on your footballer's sleeve, eh? You know, you can't. Every time you look at a footballer now, he's got the sleeve, hasn't it? Well, two sleeves, in fact, some of them. You know, the big sleeve down here and up. You know, what possesses her? All the dark players have got them. You know, even Phil Taylor's got power written down his arm there, and I reckon that's for the camera angle. You know, like that. But I just don't understand why they would. Why they would actually do that to themselves, and there's, I think there's something missing there, Mick. You know, whether or not they've got an identity problem or whatever it is, I don't know. But tattoos. Now, tattoos are one thing. These people that sort of mutilate their body with body piercings and things like that, I look at some of them. And it nearly makes me want to throw up, Mick. You know, It does nearly makes me want to throw up. Have a look at this bozo here, right? Look at that, eh? Why would you do that to the side of your mouth? Eh?
I really don't know.
Why on earth
Unbelievable.
would you do that? And you know, and then you get these people with the big ears. You know, they've got rings in their ears, and they got their hair. You know, what about the haircuts? You know, and they're, well, I can't get a fucking job. I ain't surprised. You know, and perhaps they do it. Perhaps they do it so they don't have to work. I mean,
Possibly,
that's what. Who's going to employ them? They get them. They're not cheap, are they?
No, of course not. No.
You know, these tattoos and these ring things, man. You've got to keep. You know, with those rings, you've got to keep having them. You know, got to keep having them done in and out. Can you imagine what they're going to look like? Can you imagine what they're going to look like age 70 and things like that, or even worse, you know, 80 and stuff like that.
50 is the new 60, so...
Yeah. I don't know. Cheers.
Well, 60 is the new 50, I should say.
Yeah. And I just don't understand why people would sort of go to that length. I do really believe they're mentally unbalanced, Mick. You know, anyway, tattoos and body piercing to me, Mick. I hope you're, I hope you'll look on that favourably and put that in room 101. But, what do you think, mate?
Yeah, well presented again. A compelling argument you've put there, but it's a bit difficult because I do understand the discreet tattoo that some women have. I don't see anything wrong in that. And also the body piercing, say, of an earring, which is a piercing, and so I can understand that. And there's something that you never touched on, which is the memorial tattoo. Because some people do have tragedy in their lives, and they want to remember that. And I can, as having know someone that's done that, I can perfectly understand why it was done.
I can understand that. I have to agree, but I wouldn't blazon it all over my chest here.
No, I'm not suggesting that, but then I think about the time I went into the hi-fi shop in Hobart, and there was a really beautiful young girl behind the counter. She served me. She had a summery dress on, all strappy, and she had a big swallow there and a big swallow there. You know, like jowl blokes have put there and there. It's a jowl emblem, free as a bird once you get out of prison. She had one there, and she had all these drawings across here. And as far as I'm concerned, she's ruined her body. Yeah. So yes, I can understand that.
Yeah.
But Keith, I've got a picture here. Have a look at this fucktard here. Look at that.
That is all what's wrong, and it all what's wrong about tattooing, isn't it?
And then
well, why would you? I mean, what is going through that bloke's mind? I mean, he obviously never want to go on a diet, does he? No. God,
no idea, Keith. But then there's the people that completely change their appearance. Have a look at this, Keith. Have a look at this one.
I know. I mean,
it's a lizard, or it's something. It's always a lizard, or something, a frog, or something.
It makes me want to throw up looking at that. And as I've said, there is something seriously wrong with these people.
I know. And there was a story in the paper, I think, a couple of weeks ago, of a man in Bristol in the UK who's got some pet parrots, and he's had his ears cut off, and he's had parrot feathers and that tattooed on his face because he wants to look like his parrot. We'll try and get a picture of that, Keith. It's true. This was in the paper 2 weeks ago.
I know. What goes through his mind? I mean, was he lie in bed at night and go, I think I'm going to look like a fucking parrot?
Yes.
It's seriously wrong.
Yeah.
Seriously. Anyway, I hope you are sympathetic, mate.
Give me a lot to think about.
Make a decision.
I'll make my decision in a couple of minutes. Yes, you have given me a lot to think about, Keith, and I'll start with days. Now, I've said about how I feel about the charities and that some of them, it's their only income stream. But I do think about that Pratt Malcolm Turnbull wearing all those different awareness ribbons just to make himself look trendy and all that. But when I think about the way the angle's gone now, it's just an angle as far as I'm concerned, and especially St Patrick's Day is the greatest example. Look how many bullshit paddies we have walking about Hobart on St Patrick's Day. So yes, Keith, I've decided that the days have got to go in to room 101.
Thank you very much, mate.
You're welcome. Now then, tattoos. The difficult one. For what I've said, for the reasons I've said. But I've given it a lot.
I don't think it's difficult.
Well, there's a lot of people out there that have got good reasons to have tattoos, and I mean, we haven't even touched on armed forces, remember? You know, if I was in the armed forces, I'm sure I would have a tattoo, and I'm not a tattoo person.
I concede that.
Yeah.
I will
So,
concede that. Yeah.
but looking at the photos that we've got between us of the abuse of tattoos, there really is no answer to it, and it's only one decision I can make, and that is put it into room 101.
I got 2 of them in. How many did you get, Mick?
I've got 2 as well. We've done
Did you
well,
really?
Keith.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. Oh.
Yes.
You know, so, well, this is the very first episode, of course, of Room 1, Mick and Keith's Room 101. We got lots more.
Yes.
You know, because there are things that that wind us up
They are.
on a daily basis. So expect some more in the near future.
Yeah,
eh?
and I don't always agree with you, Keith, and you don't always agree with me.
Yeah,
So
you know.
today we're 2 and 2.
We did,
It
yes.
don't necessarily mean it's going to be like that all the time.
No. So watch out for episode 2 in the near future, I reckon, eh? And,
Yeah, I think so.
We'll see how we go. So
If you agree or disagree, let us know.
yeah, I mean, if you disagree, fuck off. You know, that's what, eh?
Okay.
Is that
then.
over the top? Is it?
Yeah, I think so. Okay, thanks for watching.
Oh, thank you.
Bye bye.
See you soon. Ta-ta.
This has been a Blackmans Bay Studio production.